Oh wow, what a week we've had. So President Biden started off the week by confusing the President of France, Macron, with the dead President of France from the 1980s. It's not just the late dead president. We're talking about from the 1980s, Francois Mitterrand. Then he confused the Chancellor of Germany, Olaf Scholz, with the dead 1980s Chancellor of Germany, Helmut Kohl. And then we have him in his comeback speech to show he's mentally fit, that he's all there. We see him here discussing who the president of Egypt is and confusing him with the president of Mexico.
That the conduct of the response in Gaza, in the Gaza Strip, has been over the top. I think that, as you know, initially the president of Mexico, Sisi, did not want to open up the gate to allow humanitarian material to get in. I talked to him. I convinced him to open the gate. I talked to Bibi to open the gate on the Israeli side. I've been pushing really hard to get humanitarian assistance into Gaza. There are a lot of innocent people who are starving, a lot of innocent people who are in trouble and dying, and it's got to stop, number one. Number two, I was also in the position that I'm the guy that made the case that we have to do much more to increase the amount of material going in, including fuel, including other items. I've been on the phone with the Qataris, I've been on the phone with the Egyptians, I've been on the phone with the Saudis to get as much aid as we possibly can into Gaza. There are innocent people, innocent women and children who are also in badly in need of help. And so that's what we're pushing. And I'm pushing very hard now to deal with this hostage ceasefire.
So we have just totally incompetent, and then it came that he's totally mentally unfit. The Department of Justice sat with him regarding the unclassified, the classified documents that he had in his house, and they did, follow-up questions. He couldn't remember any dates. He couldn't remember whenever anything, when his son died, when he got married, none of this. He couldn't remember anything. And they concluded he's an elderly person with memory issues, and then because of that, he doesn't need to stand trial for possessing these classified documents. So, firstly, they're admitting his mind is shot, right? He's so gone, he cannot stand trial. Yet, he can still be president. Then you have Donald Trump, who's been prosecuted for holding exactly the same things, which is classified documents in his house. But he is mentally fit and therefore can be prosecuted. So it's a catch-22 here. They are using the he's not mentally fit in order to exonerate him. But President Trump, who is president and therefore can declassify or classify documents as he wishes, while Biden, who at the time was just vice president and could not do that, President Trump gets indicted and Biden gets off scot-free. It's a two-tier insane justice system, as we see.
Having said that, how do you expect this narrative to play out on the campaign trail? How much do you expect former President Trump to focus on this?
Yeah, and I think what you're saying is it's expecting the average voter to understand the nuances in both cases, right? And I think President Trump's been very effective of pointing this out and saying it is a two-tiered system. I had documents, I was the president, I had the right to declassify documents under the Presidential Records Act, store those documents. Joe Biden as a senator and as then vice president, that didn't apply to him. And I'm here getting prosecuted in South Florida. He gets a pass from his own DOJ. So that's going to continue to play out that way. I will say that obviously there were some national security implications here that are damning for Joe Biden. But the most damning part is that factor where his own DOJ is essentially saying that he suffers memory loss. He couldn't remember, when his term started and ended, when his son passed away. So that is a deep question. Everything he's facing, the economy, immigration, your recent NBC polling, he's trailing Donald Trump by 5 there. This is a lingering question that's not going to go away.
And so anyone who's acutely aware realizes this is beyond fraudulent. America has gone off the cliff in fraud and corruption and just pushing its weight around way too far. Let's go through the conflicts at the moment. We've got Ukraine. So Ukraine, an absolute disaster. Russia is pushing and pushing them. America's not giving them the money that they need, and they're running out of men. Basically, they're running out of men desperately, and no one wants to fight this pointless forever war for nothing, for absolutely nothing. And America doesn't even want to fund it anymore. And all that domino effect, again, absolute lies that they'll go to Ukraine and then go to Poland and then go to France. We all know this from Vietnam, an absolute lie. How people can be sold the same lie 50 years later is incredible. But apparently they have, and all this money, and it's just dying, right? We had the interview with Tucker Carlson with Putin as well, who seemed completely lucid, focused, gave a half an hour history lesson on Russia. And you want to compare that to somebody who's confused in the same week 3 different presidents. It is mind-boggling how different they are. So we've got Putin over here and Ukraine, and everyone's tired. Even the Ukrainians are tired of the Ukraine war. Have a watch at this. People protesting in Ukraine against the war and the stupidity of it. And then, as a recap, obviously, we had Biden saying Israel has gone over the top. So, let me just get this straight. America attacking Iraq for absolutely no reason, for weapons of mass destruction, which they didn't have, which the UN had already inspected and said they didn't have, using a false dossier you cooked up yourself to prove that they may have these weapons of mass destruction. So you already cooked it up and used it, and so you made the lie, attacked. We have a guaranteed 300,000 people dead, some say 1 million. That's how many people died there. That isn't over the top. No, that's not over the top. But Israel defending itself against a mass murdering terrorist group that butchered 1,400 people and said they will do it again and again and again. And does not want to enter any negotiations, and does not want a ceasefire, and does not want to end. Everyone's like, ceasefire, they don't want it. They don't want to put their hands up. But Biden says, that's over the top. So again, you've got an insane guy there. He wants the Ukraine war to continue and butcher Ukrainians, and they've had enough. He wants Israel to stop doing anything, and he's threatening with all sorts of craziness. Imagine your best ally. God damn, if that's your ally. America is the worst ally in the world. No one wants them. So this is what he's saying to them, to stop, put down your arms, and basically let yourself be killed, because I have an election and I don't really care about you, but I do care about Ukraine. I will not pass the bill stopping the border migrants unless they authorize 60 billion to Ukraine. This is how bonkers it is. I will not protect my own people and my best ally, Israel. They can go and screw themselves unless 60 billion goes to Ukraine. I mean, this is beyond absurd. Now, obviously, this comes from the bribes he got from Ukraine, remember, from back then. And again, Trump was charged, impeached for Ukraine actions, but not Biden. So again, the two-tier justice system continues. Thirdly, this is mad. We had the Pakistani elections yesterday. Now, this is beyond shocking. Pakistan had Imran Khan, a very famous cricketer, not part of the elite. They managed to kick him out of being president on spurious charges of nothing. They told him, go home. He said, no, you're corrupt and you've chucked me out for nothing. Okay. House arrest. They stuck him under house arrest. Surrounded the whole house with military. People broke in, they got him out, because they love him, the people love him. And they said, okay, they took him back and now have put him under full arrest in a prison for, 16 years, over nothing, over corruption charges for 16 years. So they had the elections. His party wanted to stand. Obviously, if he wins, they'll get him out of jail. That party is banned. Not allowed. No, every other that party is not allowed to stand. This is who's behind this, by the way? America again. The American military. They're the ones who rule the country. So it's a US-backed military who is doing all this and banning and doing all this. Okay, so then they said, okay, we can't stand as a party. We'll stand as independents in each constituency. That's what they did. They should have won at least 2/3 of the vote. They have now, very cleverly, what they've done is they've allowed them to win the most votes, which is what they've done in Holland as well. They allow you to win the most votes, but you can't form a coalition. We're not going to allow you to form a coalition. It's very clever. We're going to allow you to pretend, yeah, look, you did win the most votes. Oh, you can't get a majority, which means you can't form a government, which means the military are back in charge. This is absolutely ridiculous. Everyone knows they won by a landslide, but the American-backed military will not give in and have rigged another election. Hundreds of videos of ballot stuffing, by the way. Hundreds. I mean, I have watched. There are hundreds. It's literally, you're actually watching them stuff ballots without embarrassment in front of the camera. Actually watching them. Absolutely insane. That is how bad it is. So America's got involved in all these places in the world. No one wants them anymore. They can't even protect their own country. They're run by a puppet dictatorship of Biden, who's an elderly man with with memory problems. Let's remember that. That's an exact quote from his own DOJ. And he's going to restart again. And we have the same issues in America from the last election. The same problems. Ballot harvesting is legal. Blanket postal ballots will be sent out to everyone. And no voter ID is needed. Just those things, three things again, which is illegal everywhere, including Pakistan, would you believe it, right? You don't have any of those things. Any democracy in the world does not allow ballot harvesting, does not allow blanket postal ballots, and does not allow not having voter ID. But America, the world's first free democracy, the number one democracy, allows this. And so that is where we are at the moment. It has become such a farce. It has become so farcical, this whole thing. I don't know where we go from here. It's just they've got themselves involved in so many pies, so many countries, and no one wants them. They've had enough of the tyranny that is the USA, and no one, even their own people, want to rebel against the tyranny, and they want Trump back, who doesn't want to deal with the rest of the world, completely right, wants to deal with just American issues, completely right, and that's it. And that's basically it. And will we get the chance to see that? I don't know. I think they're going gunning to replace Biden, and they'll go with Michelle Obama or Newsom, or they'll just have to rig it again, which is annoying, but they might have to do it.